Well, I knew I was gonna want to watch it again, regardless, and I felt the need to do so almost immediately, especially as you recall the first viewing wasn't full immersion. I had promised my father that we would go see it together, but not my first viewing, only the second viewing. He comments that he knows where he falls on the totem pole. I'm going to go see Avatar, The Way of Water, again, with my father, and now I'm just being a real sneaky son of a bitch and am going to do something I've never done. I'm going to trip out again for the movie, just on a lower dose, so he doesn't notice. I guess it is appropriate that these reviews started now because from my point of view I am being very unorthodox about it. Of course my father wants to spend time with me, and that is the main reason for him wanting to go see the movie with me. We are seeing the same time, 2:15 p.m. showing, on a Saturday, a week later from the first time, but we are not driving to the faraway theater. We are going to the AMC Olathe Studio 30. Are you thinking I am an AMC lover now? No, I go wherever is convenient and best. I used to work at an AMC Town Center 20 in Kansas, and I worked at ArcLight Culver City before it got shut down. Before I go into any movie I'm about to watch on a DXM trip, I always bring a chillum to do one small hit as I walk in because I have not gotten high that day of the movie until that moment. So my sneaky son of a bitch mind was like, how am I gonna pull off this lil hit with father in tow? Where can I do it? Bring my small alligator case with me in the car, walk out during trailers to go to the bathroom, and walk out of theater to side of building and do it there? No, that's a lot. And the smell. He might smell it in my pocket in the alligator case. Hey, by the way, thanks to that alligator for letting me use their skin in this little drug pouch thing I always keep with me for the last long time. I don't even remember where I got it. Apologies about the person who killed you though. No, how am I gonna do this? Well, just don't fucking take the hit this time, I tell myself. Yeah, right. That's not gonna happen. I have to. Oh, you crazy fucking addiction mind, you are so clever, I swear. So we decided, without a decision, that the alligator case is brought over to the parents' house where I parked my car because father is going to drive. A few minutes before we are to leave I walk out of the house, go to my car, grab the alligator case, and take a quick puff off to the side of the house. Did the neighbors see me? What the fuck am I doing? This is stupid. But I did it, and I blow it out and I walk it back to my car and I try to walk around a bit to get the smell off. Father comes out and backs the car out of the driveway. Holy fucking shit, this is so stupid that I have to be all Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy as a 38-year-old around my parents to get high because they think I'm still sober. They want me to be, obviously. But they do not understand it at all, and in their minds I know it's all horror, and so I hide it from them because I lived with them that last year, and this was the time finally that I was gonna get all my shit together, and this was when I finally told them all about all my troubles and what had been going on the almost last 2 decades, and I step into the car. Father's nose twitches. My heart skips. He puts the car into reverse. His nose twitches again. What is that smell? He says. My heart ramps up like you wouldn't believe. Fucking hell, I knew this was a bad decision, but I try to play it cool. What smell? I say. Smells like the car, I say, all cool like as if I don't know what he's talking about, and we are standing on the edge of him absolutely losing it and me not getting to see Avatar, The Way of Water again, and then it would just be a bad trip. He says, no, it's, I don't know, and he keeps driving. The lingering pot has faded already, thank God, and I barely make it out of this silly willy of a moment. We drive to the theater and my heart takes the whole trip to slow back down. At moments, I think about bringing up the smell again to lay on more lies, but I know that is amateur hour. If you lie, you let it lay and let it go and hope it stays, but when you start adding, that's when the trouble begins. I lie. But I try not to. I really try not to, and now at this point in my life when I do I don't add. If I get caught, I fess up. If father had put it together, I would have admitted. He's 72, and that worked to my advantage. He is very aware and active for his age, but I think it's starting to get a little fuzzy for him, and I used that to my advantage, making him think the smell was just something in the car, not a big deal, don't worry about it. I'm the nicest piece of shit you'll ever meet. My father brought a bottle of water for us to share. The theater has rocker seats, I believe they call them, which is basically they aren't the recliner seats, but they do, rock. It is very crowded, and I had previously online bought seats, front row of second section in IMAX. People were sitting in our seats when we got there, and I had to politely ask them to move to their correct seats, which they did and were not bitchy about in the slightest. All theaters nowadays are pretty much assigned seating. Just sit in your fucking seat you chose. I worked here. It is a chain reaction. You sit where you are not supposed to. Then those people come in and see you there, and they don't want to have conflict, and they don't really care, so they sit somewhere else, and then those people come in, and then I have to come in, as an usher in a dorky arclight outfit, in the dark, walking in front of people, and figure out who sits where because people can't follow simple directions. It's one of the most awkward work things ever. One time a family had tickets for the wrong day. One time it was the wrong theater. In a real diversion of story, I worked at a different place of a non-movie variety in Los Angeles that had multiple non-affiliated, unofficially connected locations throughout the country, and a family came up and they had bought tickets to the New York location. The theater is designed in so that where I sit, the seats in the last section of the first section, with there being that nice big walking gap in front of me, the just barely tip-top of the seat cuts off the bottom of the screen. Poor design. I know what happened, gotta cram in as much seats as possible for maximum bucks, whatever. So I have to kind of sit up tall in order for it not to cut off that small sliver for me. During the movie, father is fidgety. I know him well and what this means about his feelings towards the film. The difference between the IMAX laser and on laser is very big, and I'm okay with either one, but I can see why some people don't like the laser version. I think for Avatar specifically the laser works well. I really wanted to go see it at the big IMAX in NYC, but I've never been there. Maybe for one of the other sequels in the future. Afterwards we drive back home, him none the wiser to my slightly drunken steps, and I get in my car and drive back to my apartment and spend the remainder of my trip in the darkness of my apartment. During the drive my father states, since he doesn't know all the ins and outs of film, that couldn't Cameron use old footage from Avatar 1 to put in 2 to make it cheaper because they already had it, and I'm like, Dad, no, like where do I even start, I mean, no, just, no. This isn't Transformers 3, I explain. Actually I think I went inside the house for a second and my mom gave me something, and that was all weird because I'm never ever around them when I trip out, and I think that was probably the first time. I also don't remember what the second movie later on that night was. Did I finish Avatar, The Way of Water? Yes, but since I was with my father I knew he would rather not sit for all the credits, and so we left during the start of the credits. If I asked him to stay he would have for me, but it wasn't necessary.